Planning and information session is now called to order. At this time, we look to our Commissioner Felder to call for our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance.
Would everyone please stand for the invocation? Father God, we thank you for allowing us to assemble together one more time. Let us take a moment to pause and reflect. May we approach our duties with wisdom, integrity, and fairness. May our decisions be guided by the best interests of all citizens we serve. Let respect and cooperation guide our discussions, and may this meeting be productive and thoughtful. In your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We want to thank our Commissioner Felder for calling for the invocation and also for our Pledge of Allegiance. At this time, we look to our city's clerk. Do we have any guests tonight?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we have one, Mr. David White. If you'll step to the podium, and we request that you state your name and address for us, please. Mr. White is here to speak on the traffic light on Garlington and Brightway.
Very good.
My name is David White, 1419 Maryland Street, that's where I live. I want to say this, not too long ago, we did have a wreck over right by our church on Crawford Street. One reason why I know they had to pull one of the cars and it had to be parked in our parkway for about 2 or 3 days. Another thing is we also had a wreck not too from Garlington, and that's been about, in the last 3 months, we done had 2 wrecks in that area. And on Quarters in Blackwell, the traffic is still going pretty fast in that area. And then I want to say something about my commissioner over there, Ms. Bennett. We had some problems with trees falling over. And there was one tree I was riding, and I had to get out and cut some limbs off it because it was hitting the van when I rode by. My wife came by and seen Miss Bennett there. She thought she was broke down. But Miss Bennett was cutting down that tree. She called the people to cut it down and stayed there till they got there. So, seeing some of the commissions in action, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
But I'm gonna say this again. We know DOT is over the highways. And we vote for people to get in office. And then they wonder who the boss is. You know who the boss is? The voters.
Amen.
We vote you in, and we look for you to do something for us. So I'm hoping everybody here understand this here. We got a city manager here that is working on those programs and enlightened me that they're trying to do something. So I look at it this way. Sometimes we want things to stay old, but this is a new day. I think maybe we was talking about it. Sometimes I'm old school, but sometimes I got to be a new school. We got to work together, stay together, and if we do it that way, we can make it. Always remember one thing. We vote you in. Read about the people that is helping you. And if they are not helping you, throw them out. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. White. Madam Clerk, you said that was the only guest tonight?
Yes, sir.
Very good. At this time, we look to our city manager for our travel training schedule requests.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we don't have any travel and training scheduled. We'll go ahead and move into the agenda items. Of course, Mr. Mayor, the vision remains the same for the city, as well as the mission. Mr. Mayor, no change to the city priorities. No change to the city priorities, further explained in East Bend. No change to the 10-year plan, Mr. Mayor, but I will say, as stated a few minutes ago, we are really moving forward in year 2 proposed plan. I think as we move up with the IT software upgrade, so it'll be a little bit before, I said next year, but it'll be this year. So we're excited about that, and everything else remains the same. We're really moving forward on a lot of stuff, which I'll touch on later on during the infrastructure brief. Mr. Mayor, the order presentation, be myself starting, be finance, the purchasing department, and then I'll finish it up. And we'll start with bids with the purchasing manager, Ms. Jackson.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners,
Ms.
Purchasing
Jackson.
has one item before you this evening. It is for our annual bid for fire department uniforms. Our previous vendor, Patrick's Uniform, has gone out of business, and we speak with the department every year to see if they are satisfied with their service. Obviously, because they went out of business, they had to go back out for bid again. We put out a bid. We received 4 bids. The best and most economic bid came from Galls LLC out of Lexington, couldn't say it, Kentucky. And we are asking that the commission review and approve these recommendations so that we can continue our contract with Galls.
Okay. Commissioner, you have heard the request of our procurement officer. We want to find out if you are in agreement with the Patrick's Uniform, Jacksonville Galls LLC, Lexington, Kentucky. Okay, so I will go to each individually. District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3. You have a question?
Yes. I was reading where it say, one size, it doesn't matter, it'll be the same price. But then I see where it says, men's station wear shirt, $67, extended price size, $72.
Yes.
So, but I read where it said one price for all sizes.
Yes, that was another bid for, I believe that's Linda Clay Fashions. We specifically asked in our bids for the quote-unquote regular sizes from small to large.
Okay.
And if they had an additional cost for extended sizes, we asked them to list that. That's where they have 2 separate ones on each vendor.
Mm-hmm.
And for Galls, they did not change their price,
Okay.
whether it was a regular size or extended size.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. District 3
Yes.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have consent from all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
She did.
All right, Mr. Mayor, next we'll move into the second agenda item, which is the floating local option sales tax. This is a provision of House Bill 501 that recently passed. And basically what it's gonna do with that 1% is help lower the millage rate. To get this done, we have to sign an interagency agreement with the county for that 1%. I'm gonna pass this off to the city attorney for any additional information.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I received a resolution from the county attorney informing me that the county was preparing to adopt a resolution to impose the floss tax. This resolution also incorporates an intergovernmental agreement between the city and the county with regard to receiving the proceeds from this sales tax, which is a 1% sales tax that will be imposed effective January 2026. It will be on the November 4th ballot in terms of whether or not this community wants to approve this floss tax. And the ballot measure has to be finalized 90 days before the actual election. So we have to get it done within the next month, by no later than August. So the county attorney tells me that they're moving forward with adopting the resolution to impose this floss tax. We have very similar resolutions that say the same thing, that approves imposing the tax and an intergovernmental agreement. And the split with the tax is 58% county, 42% city, which is based upon how the Department of Revenue has returned funds back to us in 2024. And so they're going with that same split. So this measure is before you in terms of whether or not you want to have that floss tax imposed, which will, as the manager said, reduce the burden of taxpayers for ad valorem tax purposes. It has to be used only for that purpose. It has to be kept in a special account. Can't be mixed with other city funds. And it will be used to take the burden off the taxpayers by lowering the ad valorem taxes.
So the recommendation is really for us to do that, to lower and to assist the citizenry.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll bring it before our board then, if the city manager has no further comments about it.
Oh, that's all for that item, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so do we need to make a decision tonight, or do you?
Yes,
okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so looking at this, and Commissioner, if you have questions of the city manager or the city's attorney, feel free to ask those questions. I'll go now to District 1 to see what your thoughts are.
Yes, sir.
You for it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3,
Yes, I have a question.
and District 3 has a question along with saying yes.
Attorney Spearman, you said that we need to make a decision within 90 days. August is the latest.
The intergovernmental agreement and resolution to call for the election has to be done 90 days prior to the election.
Okay. Thank you.
And District 5,
I don't have anything, sir, but yes.
yes. Okay. So with that, we can go ahead. I believe we'll need to draw up a resolution of some sort to agree to go ahead and make certain that I guess I'll sign off on that along with Chairman.
Yes, sir. We have it so that you can vote on it tomorrow night if you'd like to move forward with it. We have the resolution already prepared.
Okay, sounds good. It sounds like the commission has agreed by consent. Districts 1, 2, 3 had a question regarding it, but did say yes, and District 5 said yes with no comment. Okay.
Correction there.
And
Point of
commission,
clarification. I didn't say yes, I just asked the question.
okay, well, we have 3.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we'll move to a previous discussion, the vacancy inspection resolution. We discussed this last week about changing that, removing that from our code book. Coming to you before the commission today to kind of look at a suggested policy change date, and we're looking at July 1st. The only situation we have right now is grandfather recommendation. Do we want to grandfather anybody in? Right now, Mark's team is kind of looking at which cases who should get grandfathered in based off what's going on right now. But I feel like we'll just give everybody a clean slate at that day, because we'll never figure that out when these inspections start. And I'll go back while I'm speaking, Mr. Mayor, so y'all remember the discussion we had with the current policy and proposed policy. So And we discussed this in detail about 2 meetings ago, and I think we got a census then. I was bringing back to you for a start date, if there was going to be a start date.
So with this just me asking a question.
Mm-hmm.
We've already talked about this, right?
We have, correct.
And we'd already consented, but you're basically just having a start date.
Great, Mr. Mayor.
So the question now is, do we agree on the start date? Is that what you're asking?
When would like the start date to be? And the ordinance, it's an ordinance change, correct?
And an ordinance change, correct. And this is a home rule type of change?
Correct, Mr. Mayor. And if you remember, Mayor Commission, this is based off of some of the citizens coming forward and having concerns and complaints about the vacancy inspection itself. This will remove the city from that hindering citizens, but they would have an additional requirement on themselves, and they would be on their own timelines. We would still issue permits based off when that investor or citizen got with the code department. So,
Okay. So what we'll do here, I'll just open the floor for conversation around consenting on the date, because I think we've already consented on the other portion. Now, there will be some form of resolution of some sort, or to have the ordinance change, or how would that work?
It would be an ordinance effecting that change.
Okay,
So we have to bring an ordinance before the commission to vote on.
very good. District 1. Any questions before giving the consent?
No, sir, I'm good.
And so do you consent to the ordinance?
Yes, sir.
And District 2, any questions before giving consent?
No, sir, and yes, I consent.
You consent. And District 3, any questions or concerns before giving consent?
Yes, I have a question. With the proposed change in the ordinance, and just for clarification, it's stating that basically the responsibility of the utilities, the water, electricity, it falls back on the owner.
all inspection will fall back on the owner, correct? All
Okay.
liabilities associated with it.
Okay. You also mentioned that Mark Hawkins is looking at which cases should be grandfathered in. Approximately how many cases do we have that may fall into this
I'm not sure
category?
right now, Commissioner. My recommendation would be just to not do that. I mean, I brought that up because we mentioned, I think somebody asked about it before, but I'm thinking we need to leave that alone. The cutoff date is the cutoff date, and any inspection moving forward will be the new guidance. And any before that, we'll just change the rules, because if we have somebody right now who's, what's the date? Somebody getting inspected today, at some point it's going to start being a conflict. So I would just recommend we just cut it off. So July 1st, nothing's grandfathered in, and everybody goes through the new process.
Starting over. Starting fresh.
Start fresh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so for those citizens that do fall into this category, will they be notified?
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you.
And do you consent?
I consent, yes.
Okay. And we're looking to our District 5.
I consent.
So we have all consenting, and we can move forward with this.
And Mr. Mayor, we will do some information briefs before July 1st, of course, to make sure everybody, as much as possible, is understanding the new change in policy. So we'll do a few by social media, and then we'll post a few just to make sure everybody's tracking. We recognize there will be a few hiccups with those ongoing right now, but we should be able to move through that.
And Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, just for clarification purposes, the ordinance requires that the property owner sign an affidavit assuming all liability, since they are responsible for making sure that the inspections take place. And then there's a second affidavit that the contractor has to sign, saying that the improvements were done according to the code. So we have a two-step process that removes the city from this, sort of insulates the city, with the property owner accepting liability and with the contractor putting forth an affidavit saying that they have ensured that the work that they did complies with the code.
Very good. And I'm grateful for that, because that answers the question that Commissioner Felder asked regarding will they be contacted. Well, they would have to be contacted for them to sign the affidavits first.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. As we all know, it's been an issue for many years now. I think this alleviates that concern we've had with the vacancy inspection moving forward. Next, Mr. Mayor, this is kind of I had intended to be a meter pilot update with the current direction. However, this morning, I did speak to Mr. Lake. I'm not gonna throw him underneath the bus today, but we did talk about some possible changes that I wanna look at. I wanna give the commissioner a quick update, and I might need Mr. Lake to come up here and speak on about, but I'll start. So as you know, we've had a problem with these meters. In some cases, we had up to 3,200 meters that would not read or be non-compliant for a while, and more than that in some cases. We finally did get that transmitter in probably a couple weeks ago, and they put it on the, what side? Alice side street tower, put it on the tower there, and they reduced the read rate in half alone right there. This also gave Infomart the ability to look at all the failing repeaters. And it's talking to the team today, a lot of our repeaters, well, some of them are just failing because I guess the battery or bad repeaters, but in some cases they need to be a little bit higher. So in many cases they're on maybe a 12-foot flagpole. Let me say 12-foot flagpole, and we're looking to put them up higher, maybe 20 foot, 25 foot, to get in more line of sight as far as reading. That's been working in other places. So probably something we should have caught before, but we had really started diving in on the meters and kind of missed the main thing there about line of sight. But with our marks, with the whole team leadership down there, they kind of came in and kind of caught that, which is great for us because it's going to save us a lot of money if we go a different direction. So what I would like to do, I had told the commission previously about that those costs we're going to associate with all the new meters, making a decision prior to the new budget. But I think right now what we should probably do is give Mr. Lake's team about 60 more days for additional assessment. And I think by that time they'll be able to replace those two identified failing repeaters. We might have other repeaters that are failing too, now that we know that. Replace those, and then once we replace those meters should work as well. And we might have actually solved the problem that way. So I'm gonna give them 60 more days. It should probably take us around the end of August, right before the October 1st changing rates. But I wanted to brief the commission because this is actually a good news story. This is actually going to be cost savings, going to be a lot less than if we just replaced everything like we intended to initially. So I'm very thankful that they got out, and this is like a lot of labor associated to this. I mean, getting up on those poles and really looking at things, and this is going to be even better because it will give us the real reads for our meters and water usage, which will increase revenue, which then we can turn and put back into the water sewer account that'll benefit all our citizens. So this is kind of like a quick update of what happened. And Tina, did I spell that out good enough, or okay? And I apologize if you have a question on that, Mr. Mayor, or you can ask Infomart team if you got questions.
Okay. So I'll open up Commission District 1. Did you have any questions of the city manager or Infomart?
No, sir, I'm good.
And District 2?
No, sir.
District 3?
Yes, Mayor, I have a question. So you mentioned that we have approximately how many of these meters?
But it fluctuates. We have about, it can be up as high as like on this for right. Each day is different, but right now with 3,200, it don't read.
Okay, 3,200 that don't read.
Yeah.
So out of the 3,200 that don't read, when a citizen receives a water bill, how is their monthly bill determined if these meters aren't reading properly?
So we can do manual reads. So a lot of this is manual reading, and then some of it is estimation on their previous known correct usage of water rate, and we got a system behind that that we've been following. But most of the time we come and do a reread. Over the last probably 90 days, while we're doing the meter pilot, the test pilot, we were swapping out a lot of meters. So when people did have issues, we would swap a known good meter in there to kind of get the proper reading. So, and as Commissioner Felder's alluded to, one thing we'll definitely have to do, regardless of the direction that we go in, once we figure all this out, when the meters start reading what they're supposed to read, because a lot of people are using way more water than they think they're using. And we probably have to figure out some type of grace period at that point in time to get them to understand, again, you can't take 5 showers a day. You probably cut it down maybe to 2 a day to get your water bill down. But the main thing here, like I said, we've been going through this for 15 years now, back and forth with trying to figure out possible solutions. And I think we're in a good spot regardless, because we have identified through that meter pilot some working meters that do work. But at the same time, like I say, the problem might have been all the time. And this transmitter took about a year to get in, 2 years. Yeah, so the transmitter took about 2 years to get in, and that definitely was a problem reducer. So yeah, so we've been waiting for 2 years, and that's basically it, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if I answered the question.
You did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the question and answer was basically this is more about information and letting us have a update.
Just to update. I think we'll come back in about 60 days, and like I say, if we replace some of the repeaters, then they'll read even more meters. And then once we get this number down to like I feel comfortable like purchasing new meters, maybe we get down definitely under 1,000. Then we maybe look at just getting new meters altogether. Because some of the meters are just bad because of the batteries and all that stuff. And we'll go that direction. But regardless of all this is a good news story because, like I say, just that transmitter's been up about 2 weeks now. How much? About 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, it wasn't really anything. So this is definitely showing us where the problem probably really relied, probably was from the get-go, was that. And the meters, batteries going out and not working at all. So that was always a problem as well. But I mean, I think we're close to kind of fixing this right now. I wanted to keep the commission kind of updated because we are kind of moving day by day on this. And like if it changes and I feel like it's not gonna really do anything a month from now, then I'll come back to the commission.
Okay. Commissioner Nelson may have a question or comment, and then Commissioner Felder has a follow-up.
So I just had a comment saying that this has been a problem since 2015, at least before that, because when I was on it then. Well, I applaud you for stepping up and bringing this to a conclusion because this has been a problem with us having to go out there and read them and taking the averages.
Oh yeah.
That's not a good thing, but thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Commissioner. I think just for the citizens, because I know it's been a headache for them. Back to Mr. Felder's point, even though I guess information sometimes can be difficult to understand with the non-working media, and this also goes back to the vacancy inspection. We can tie everything together at this point. So once all this is resolved, I think that's just another issue gone. That we can move on to our remaining issues that we got to fix. So and it wasn't. It was a team effort. I think initially the engineer team kind of did the pilot program. Trey and being all them. Then the new team came in and in the meeting they picked up a new way of thinking. So it's been a great team effort. Some of the engineers upstairs, we got Ms. Strickland and Mr. Pope. They kind of look at it too from this point of view. So, like I said, we're gonna come and reassess it in about 60 days. But I feel good about this. Just being a radio guy myself. Back in the Army days, I probably should have caught this myself when we started talking about transmitters and repeaters. So just glad that we finally got a true problem set now that we know we're trying to fix.
Commissioner Felder had a statement that you want to
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. What are the costs for these meters?
So the new meters are, we're talking about how much the new meters were. Do you remember?
180.
180, 200, yeah, just 200 for the meters.
The transponder.
Yeah,
So
So-
that's 200 for the meter and,
Mhm.
and how much for the transponder?
I believe last price was 170,
yeah.
somewhere around there.
So that's,
Basically, we went with replacing the initially we was talking about replacing the 3,200 meters and a new backbone and all that.
mhm.
I think it came around 385,000, and that's then having a monthly fee with Georgia Power using their backbone. So, and then if we went that direction, this is another problem. Part of that, we still would have had certain meters on Georgia Power's backbone, and then other meters on our system still. So, I think if this works out this way, and we can keep everything in house, that's just less trouble for us as well. So, and the cost is going to go down. So you're talking about potentially, had we eventually had to do our own network, which would have been like 500-some thousand, because we probably would have got tired of paying Georgia Power eventually, because their rates would have increased every year, like their power rates. And it got quite expensive. I said this is probably going to be the most effective way. I feel like we can do some of the meter replacement in house. I mean, that shouldn't be like we're going to pay for people to put them in with the new meter. So this is probably the most cost-effective way if it works moving forward.
I think, Commissioner, she was partly into her statement.
Okay.
Yeah. So will this be bidded out?
Well, if we replaced all the meters, yes. But like right now, I just want to see if the replacing the repeaters works, and if that works, and then it gets the number down even further. Like we'll have to bid out meters, because we get these meter count down. I'm gonna think positive. Say we get down like the 500 meters, then that won't have to be bid out. That's below the threshold. And as you know, the threshold has changed now for what has to be bid out at the state level. So.
Any further questions, Commissioner?
No, I'd just like to know the number when you come back with that, of how many of the meters that are going to be a part of this pilot study, since there are, you said, approximately about 3,200 that need to be replaced. Thank you.
Yeah, I can see this.
What was the statement that?
No,
was
it's
just made?
1,600 meters need to be replaced now.
1,600 meters
Yeah.
need to be replaced.
Right, as of right now, but again, once we get these new failing repeaters up, that's going to drop even further. So once that's the purpose of this, once we get it down, we won't know what real meter costs till we get everything back up and going. So, all right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the SPLOST 2023, and I'm bringing this back up again. Having went back and checked with the team, when I was reading it, I assumed that 4.5 million we put in for streets and roads was paved roads, but it actually was put in for just dirt roads when they got voted on. So we would first have to do all the dirt. This kind of lines up what we've been talking about. We would first have to do all dirt roads first, and then the money left over, then they can go to the paved roads. So just want to put that up front right now. Because I have been briefing that we would start finish the dirt roads with the current SPLOST 14, and then move into a future date for the new SPLOST. But the 2023 SPLOST, we got to start with the dirt roads first. So what we're doing right now, we're going back and kind of recalculating the dirt roads. So when I say dirt roads, I mean roads that are unpaved and roads with milling on them. Now there is a formula that we used before about the number of houses, churches, and businesses on the roads, because certain roads will not qualify if it's just a long driveway or if they have a paved road in front of them houses. So we're gonna put all that together and come back to you at the next meeting, because I want to go ahead and get on top of this right now. Understanding that they won't be able to start on these roads because of the upcoming weather. But if we go ahead and build it out, then probably mid next year they can start on those dirt roads. And then the great thing will be we will get all the dirt roads done, and we no longer have any dirt roads in the city of Waycross. It was a great thing. I don't foresee, well, I know for a fact that that 4.5 million will not be used for, it won't consume our dirt roads. So we will have money left over to go ahead and hit some of the other paved roads as well. So I want to start there, having learned that new information. Next, Mr. Mayor, just to tie everything together. So I was trying to come back this time about some priorities, about utilizing this SPLOST. We're moving into hurricane season. We're there right now as of yesterday. And what we'd like to do with the first purchase, and right now we have about, I think it's a little bit over $1 million in this SPLOST account, 2023. And I would like to go ahead and make the first purchase be that vac truck. We only have one vac truck right now. As you know, we share that with Infomark ESG, and we just need 2 vac trucks based off of last year's 3 storms. That runs about $500,000 for a new one. We don't necessarily have to get a new one. I'd like to get one as new as possible. But I would like to go ahead and make that the first purchase that we do. And again, that's for hurricane preparation. That is our priority right now, based off of the last 2 years. And I'll cover that a little bit more when I do the infrastructure update. And then as far as community improvement, I want to go ahead and get those trucks replaced. They got 2 pickup trucks to get replaced. The ones that we replace, they will go down to Public Works, and they're gonna pretty much cannibalize those engines and try to get a good truck out of those 2 trucks, which they feel like they can do. And then the fire department needs 1 truck. So that will be the next thing we do, get these trucks ready. And once again, this is tied in to some of the having vehicles available for hurricane prep and operational. And then the next one will be the parks funding. I would like to go ahead, in that SPLOST is $300,000 in there for parks funding. Go ahead and get that separated as well. That will end up being $60,000 for each commissioner, I think. and then get the commissioners to go ahead and build their business where they want to appropriate that money, because it's gonna take us about 6 months to do anything with that. Once you tell us what you want to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out the way as well. And then the other million is kind of we left over. Let's go ahead and start dirt roads completion. So we currently, I think we just started building those 7 dirt roads. They're on your city report that you got in the packet. We currently started building. I think right now, like I said, once I count the milling and unpaved roads, we're talking about 24 roads per se that are unpaved, or dirt roads that we call them. I do feel like because in those situations, you don't have to worry about utilities as much. It shouldn't cost that much, and I want to get all that done this year. I feel like by the end of the year, we'll be collecting $2.5 million by January 1st, and this should cover all of those 3 areas, and we still have a little bit left over to go into the next year with. But I want to go ahead and start here because these are probably, of course, the vac truck and some of our vehicles going to be operational wise, going to be our big priorities. Then with the parks, I just want to go ahead and clear it out the way right now, versus holding it for long. I think I put it a couple years down the road. Go ahead and clear it out right now, since it's available, and then dirt roads completion.
So basically, you're just informing us of what you're doing at this point, or desire to do.
Well, desire to do, Mr. Mayor.
So I heard something there. One thing I heard was 300,000 for parks, and you said per park? Or are you talking about
it'll be
all together divided out?
divided out.
Okay. And then the other piece was, you said by the end of the year, 2.5 million will be gained,
Correct.
hopefully, and then we'll cover 7 dirt roads, and then 7 roads with milling, 17 roads with milling. So overall, about 24 roads altogether.
Correct. Just what we left to do.
So what do you need from us tonight? You just need us to give you the go-ahead to
Well,
forge ahead?
I would like a sensitive, Mr. Mayor, just so we can get started, because
Okay.
it's going to be a lot of, like I said, the vac truck is important, and that's going to take us a little. We got to bid that out right now because it's over $500,000. Like I said, we can find a used one. I did talk to Infomark, ESD, and Ms. Jackson's kind of been working on it already. This is like a very critical priority because not only because hurricane preparation, but just drainage in general. We struggle right now because we have that one truck. So want to go ahead and get this as fast as possible, like start on it like tomorrow, so we can kind of get it find one. And then the other thing is not its biggest priority, but because of how we kind of lined up with the overall 2023 spots list, we can go ahead and knock these out because the rest of that stuff can be done over time. It's in the list.
And so I have another question before I open up to the commission, and that question would be, when we did the 2023 SPLOST, did we not already put things in priority?
You didn't put in priorities. You just kind of did a master list.
Okay. With that, I'll open up to the commission. And they may have questions and concerns that they may have before giving consent. District 1.
I'm good with it.
Okay. District 2.
Yes, sir.
District 3.
Yes, I have a question. You stated that there was no priorities regarding Splash and that there was just a master list.
Well, it's a when they voted on it, just certain things you had to use the money for.
That's correct.
Yeah, but it wasn't like you got to use the money for dirt roads prior to building money.
So correct me if I'm wrong, and this may be a question for Attorney Spearman. When the citizens do vote for Splash, and they did, what they voted for, that's what the Splash funding should be used for, correct? So you cannot deviate outside of that. Am I not correct in saying so, Attorney Spearman?
That's correct.
Okay, so for confirmation, what exactly can we use according to what the voters voted on the Splash funding for 2023?
Yeah, I gave y'all a list. I had multiple lists on this, so like I'm not deviating from anything. All this is covered in the splash.
Yes, I didn't say you were.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just wanting to confirm.
Well, yeah. So it's equipment, it's infrastructure, it's roads. Only thing I didn't realize, like I said again, that it specifically says unpaved roads. So we got to do all that first before we do any paved roads. And this when I gave y'all this brief, I was saying we do the paved roads first and dirt roads. You can see that in the bullet there. Park funding, building upgrades on the police station, that was in there as well. demolition funding. I think that was like $500,000. Mostly it was vehicles though, mostly vehicles. But we have already purchased a lot of vehicles over the last 2 years, either using ARPA or operational money. So that's going to be good because the cost of those vehicles that we projected in here is not going to cover that. So as a reference, we bought 6 police cars already, vehicles, and those upgraded police cars. I think in the spots they put in there for 12, so we'll get the other 6 through that. But that'll be a later priority because we already have 6 new ones. So mainly vehicles, building maintenance, demolition. The demolition will be a separate conversation by itself that I'll follow back up with you at a later date. Just having some concerns about how we appropriate that. I think it was $300,000. But as you know, when we demolish these buildings, we are creating a bigger problem with the properties, and that's the next big thing we have to figure out. Is what we do with the properties that have liens on them. So, but we won't deviate from anything that's already in the SPOS 2023. Everything will be according to what they voted on. We'll keep everybody abreast of what's going on. And like I say, just we're ahead of the game a little bit because we did purchase a lot of those vehicles already. Side-on tractor, we have 2 side-on tractors now. You can see the across the street. That's been the area we could not cut before because we didn't have the proper side-on mower. They're about done with it right now. That's going to help out the flooding downtown a whole bunch. So you shouldn't see any more flooding downtown because we opened that capacity on that particular canal. So, and this is a 6-year commitment again. So that first year was to do the overpasses that's already been collected, and then we had to go 10% over, so that's already been collected. They have that money already for the overpass on Ozzie Davis. So everything that's collected right now is going to these requirements.
I do know that in our budget booklet, there is the denotations for 2024 SPOS and 2023 SPOS.
Correct.
And so when you go to page 98, it does list off what was already prioritized, but we just, I think it was more generality, and
Yes.
now you're being more specific within those terms,
Yes.
whether it be for infrastructure or for vehicles or for whatever. So I see what you're doing, I hear what you're saying, and these are some good questions. Any further questions, Commissioner?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. And Commissioner Nelson.
Yes, sir, I concur. I see here, from what I was reading last week, and you are staying within the guidelines, but in those guidelines, it has like infrastructure, and then you can drop down in subsections and like dirt roads and streets. I can see where you're dividing those up as different priorities. So you are in order. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Next, Mr. Mayor, we move to the final topic, which is infrastructure update. And kind of got behind on this. And this is kind of a follow-up. I think one of the commissioners had a question about the waterways treatment plant, phase 1 and phase 2. Trey's team was working on that through a contract, and as you know, we had a lot of issues with that contract. We did meet with the contract owner and resolve some matters, and right now, as you see, the first phase is supposed to be done pretty much in August, which is a good thing. I went down and looked at it myself last week. Charles been staying on top of that as well on the team down there. And the next phase is 2026. I'm not sure what the next phase is right now with the actual plant. So I got to get abreast on. But I did want to let the commission know that it is being it's fixed. We had stalled for a few years there, prior to me getting here, but it's picked back up. They did hire the appropriate amount of personnel, and that's a good thing. And of course, it's coming out of GFA. And I put that down at the bottom so that our citizens understood what GFA was, and LMIG and water and sewer, so they're familiar with the accounts that money is coming out of to fix those projects. Next, Mr. Mayor, Sweat Street. There was a big sinkhole there. Good thing about that, we did go back and find we had some LMIG money for that to cut that price down. It was up to being close to $800,000. We got it down now to $300,000, and they should be complete with that August as well. And then Quarterman and MLK. Right now they say it's $400,000, but I did have a meeting this morning with the investor who's bought the property over there, and he's going to work with us. So I'm going to have to come back to the commission with the estimated data on that and when it's going to be complete. But just talking to him in initial talks, it's going to be cost-free to us, so it's going to be a great thing. And then once I think we're going to meet out there Thursday, out there on site to kind of discuss that. And then I'll come back to the commission at the next meeting, talk about that. So, want to do a quick update on those big projects that we had. Initially, all these projects were over the $600,000 mark. So those are our big projects. I just want to make sure everybody's kind of tracking on those dates. We have some other projects that are a little lesser than this. I'll come back next meeting on those streets and those sinkholes and explain those and where we're at in those projects. And I'll pause there for any questions on that.
I open the floor to the commission. Commissioner, do you have any questions of our city manager? I'll start with District 1,
No, sir.
District 2,
No, sir.
District 3.
Yes, Mayor. You said that you come back next week with other roads.
The roads that are lesser than 500,000,
Are any of those roads in District 3?
they are throughout the city. We have like 4 more sinkholes, so I'm just getting the prices on those.
And I asked the question because there was concern about the possibility of the same issue that's happening on Sweat Street as well as,
Yeah.
I believe, Columbus Street
Yeah, so
in District 3.
because it goes across the street. So
Right, and there was a hole that you all patched. That
We did.
Yeah, but it's caving in again.
yeah, so once they start on Sweat Street, that's the primary. Then they'll come through and fix that. But I don't know the cost right now. And as soon as we get this fixed, I'll have a cost on that.
The question is also follow up to this. Will there be funding
Yeah,
for,
so
to repair the next streets or the next set of streets that you said you'll get back with us on?
yeah. So again, these were the major projects that were over 500,000, and now because we've cut the cost, we have funding available. But once I get the cost of those streets, I'll come back to the commission. And anytime we do these types of projects, more likely we're going to finance them. So there'll always be funding for them. But right now, because these costs have been cut down because of the work of the team, we might have a little extra bit of money. And maybe in some cases, depending on how much it costs, might not require finance. We might be able to pay it straight up. But I won't know until we reassess everything, which will be at the next meeting when I bring it to the commission.
Thank you.
I want to commend you on having these acronyms or letters defined. For instance, the G for loan, the LMIG, the WNS, for those persons who are watching. And it gives the understanding when you're looking at each one of the faces and you're seeing the amounts of money and the dates that are given, you can kind of judge what's going on with what. So that's very good. District 5, Mr. Nelson.
No, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Rayford, I have a point of clarification, Mr. Mayor, if I
Yes.
may. I got a consensus for the 2023 update from District 1 and District 2. I did not get clarification from District 3 or District 5.
Okay. So we need District 3, and this was on SPLOST 2023?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have a consent for 2023 SPLOST?
Yes.
District 3 says yes, and District 5?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we have consent from all 4 commissioners.
Thank you.
And thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Mayor, that completes the discussion items. We have no privilege license renewals, no privilege licenses, no proposed ordinance at this time. And then for the resolution, I'm gonna pass this over to the city attorney. We'll have some additional resolutions tomorrow, but I'll pass it over to him for his remarks.
Mr. Mayor, we have the first resolution is a resolution of the City of Waycross calling for the imposition of a county 1% flexible local option sales tax. We talked about that earlier.
Yes, sir.
With the county joining in with the city to pass the floss tax. Secondly, we have a resolution of the City of Waycross to award contract for annual fire department uniforms to Galls LLC of Lexington, Kentucky. And the purchasing manager brought that item to your attention, and you gave consensus for that to be on the agenda for tomorrow. And the third resolution is a resolution of the City of Waycross, Georgia, to approve Second Amendment to restated agreement for operations, maintenance, and management services between the City of Waycross, Georgia, and Informark LLC, doing business as ESG operations and for other purposes. At the last meeting, the commission actually adopted a resolution approving the price increase for ESG. Since that time, we received the actual contract that will implement those price increases. And so this resolution sets forth the actual base fee with the increase. The other resolution just gave the amount of the increase, but this resolution actually gives what the total amount is going to be as a base fee for ESG, as well as correct the actual legal name, which is Informark LLC, doing business as ESG operations.
Very good. So 3 resolutions tomorrow.
3 resolutions. No report from the city attorney other than what I've already said.
Very good.
For my report, Mr. Mayor, I have it posted up there. I want to highlight a few things. So as you know, I mentioned earlier, we're in full hurricane prep. And like I said today, if you look across the street from here, this is one of our lowest areas, downtown Mary Street Park, going over to College Street, Dewey Street. So right now in the canal, when you walk outside, it's never been cut before. So we did get it cut this past week, and we're going to try to widen it a little bit more in certain locations so that the water can get through there. It's got the base of it is probably about 5 feet, and then the top of it is probably about 20 feet. We'll make sure that's all about 20 feet. Also, the Public Works team is going around and cutting down the trees they can cut down that are not on private property. More of the branches that we can cut down on our streets. So I just want to highlight that with the Public Works team. We had a good meeting last month about this, so they've done a great job of preparing us as much as they can for any inclement weather that might happen, that might be adverse. Next phase and will be to go to finish up behind College Street. They did start in that area as well. That's one of our other sticking points. And then underneath Plant Avenue, we're going the other side, and that's another sticking point. I'm saying this, Mr. Mayor, because I want our citizens to understand that right now our priority is operational function of the canal and not aesthetics. I recognize some of them have grass in their backyards, or they might see grass in other locations. But right now, because we know the devastation that can occur if that canal ain't fully function, our priority is going to be functionality. So we're going to do the areas that we know backs the water up the most. So I hope everybody can appreciate that and understand that. This is about safety. Once we complete those tasks, and we got probably about, I think, 7 more areas to do that are sticking points, then we'll come back and hit those other areas that are mainly just aesthetics. Additionally, there are some to go back to aesthetics. Using Night Avenue, it's on the railroad right away. We can't do anything with that. But once again, that canal is fully functional right there. I know they see those tall weeds, but it moves water, so that's not an issue. Just want citizens to really understand that. And so over this next month, that's going to be our focus. It's kind of storm prep, and we got the 2 mowers now doing a great job, and those 2 individuals doing it. Actually, we got 4 individuals trained to use those mowers, so we can keep going without nonstop at this time. And that's the main focus of my report. Just want to make sure everybody clearly understands that. The daily report, I did take down the finance portion of that. It was not updated, so they're going to update it tomorrow, and it should reflect to current month. So current month being end of May, which I was being. Once they fix that, it'll be back into that report. And I'll pause there for any questions.
We had a good storm or type of rain last week, and there was water, some flooding types in some areas. Did you want to share some thought regarding that? What had to be done?
So the one area that we still got to kind of figure out is downtown, not downtown, but Memorial, that Walmart area. And I'm not sure if it's the COVID out there, what it is right now. The engineer team is going to look at that this week. But I know the areas here on this side of town, the lower area, like I said, we're really focusing on that. It did back up, like I said, across the street. We was in the storm. It did back up across the street, but now that's been mitigated, so we shouldn't have any issues. Next thing, Mr. Mayor, I would say during these storms, we had a lot of people out again. I guess trying to help some kind of capacity with pitches and stuff. I just ask the citizens, if they don't have to be outside during these rainstorms, please don't be outside. I know that rain came from nowhere, or it lasted longer than it should have. But definitely during hurricane season, that was one of our findings. We had a lot of citizens out during that bad weather. I will be recommending this year a stronger curfew enforcement policy. Definitely if we lose power. So just again about public safety, nothing else, just straight about public safety. But I feel very confident with the canals. Like even this past storm, we had a lot of rain come down for a short period of time, which is always critical for us. And the ground was already saturated, but the canal did move the water. I'm not sure if all our citizens understand that it takes about 30 minutes for it to move in one spot to the other. So it's not going to be intentionally like just gone, especially at the nighttime or early morning time. But regardless of that, we are making progress on those sticking areas that we have. And I just ask all residents, hopefully we don't have a hurricane this year or any more flooding, but we are working on it. And as soon as we figure out Memorial, we'll let everybody know at that point.
Did we have many compromised trees in these areas?
So we're going to speak to Georgia Power about, we've identified some trees. Like I said, those on private property. There's always a conflict with cutting those trees down. We have some leaning trees in certain locations, and we have some leaning poles, some light poles, and then some power poles. So they're aware of those poles that are leaning, and once I talk to them this week, hopefully they'll go ahead and try to address that. Like I said, right now is the best time for us to get ready for the storm versus once it hits. But we've identified, everything that needs mitigation, pretty much. So right now we're just working on it, and like I say, the team is doing a outstanding job out here, even cleaning the culverts and the drainage. That vacuum truck, once purchased, is going to really turn the tide in a whole bunch of ways as far as getting prepped for any flooding weather. So hopefully we get that in as soon as possible. But we are prepped and ready. And like I said, it's evident by this canal over here that has never been clean before. It's not clean. And then we'll work our way around to the other trouble spots. And we should be done with all that over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
And I understand we have about 27 miles of canal.
Yes. And with that, Mr. Mayor, again, like there's certain locations that we cannot get to based off of proximity. There's no access point. Even with the easement, you can't get to them. Some of them are private property. And as the commission knows, we are trying to work with certain citizens to let us get access to their property, but that's touch and go. But out of that 27 miles, we've identified about 9 that is critically important. They are clear, so the water goes. Other ones, like I say, aesthetic wise, they can have grass and they can have whatever. The water's gonna go through. But it's about 7 miles where it's got to be cleared out to make sure. And this is the big muscle movers of the canal. That's gonna be wider than 5 feet. So that's our focus right now.
Thank you. Commissioner, do you have any questions of our city manager? District 1, District 2,
No, sir.
District 3,
No.
and District 5?
No, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Mr. Mayor, we do have an executive session.
Yes, sir. We have executive session personnel.
Personnel.
I need a motion to go into executive session on personnel.
So moved.
We have a motion from our Commissioner Nelson to go into our executive session on personnel. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second from our Mayor Pro Tem Bennett. And we just ask for a vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We're going into executive session. Thank you, everyone, for showing up tonight. Have a great evening.